I guess at some point we gotta say something. Seeing that everybody can now officially see us live on air. Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. It depends on what part of the world that you may be listening from, but just make it good for the glory of God. As of course, you know, it's check-in time for yours truly, Pastor Kevin on the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. I am truly blessed on this morning. We are going to have I guess what you can call a very, very, very exciting day. And of course, as you can tell, for those of you that are tuned in, listening to the show and watching the screen this morning, you can tell I am grateful once again, as I were yesterday, with an awesome guest in the studio with us. We have another awesome guest in the studio with us on today. Doesn't happen every day, I tell you, because some of the individuals that we invite to the network, to the studio, we have to sometimes catch them because they're so busy. And of course, on this morning, it's an honor, a privilege, and a blessing to have this young lady here with us, Lake County Clerk Carla Wyckoff. She said Wyckoff. I want to make sure I don't say it wrong, so I got to make sure I look at it real good and then say it. Okay. But as you can tell, we have the Lake County Clerk Carla with us this morning, and we are honored, privileged, and blessed to have her. So let me simply start off by saying good morning and thank you for stopping by this morning. Okay.
Thank you for inviting me, and you can pronounce my name any way you choose, as long as you continue to call me a young lady. I appreciate that a lot.
Hey man, well you know you are a young lady in my eyes, and I'm going to continue to do that. But we thank God for you. We thank you for stopping by this morning. First and foremost, for those that may not know who you are, we want to make sure that we clarify who you are and where you're from. And, you know, first and foremost, the position that you currently hold, you might want to share a little bit of that with us as well. So why don't you introduce yourself to our listening audience this morning?
Thank you, I will. And thank you so much for inviting me, because I like to take every opportunity I can to talk to the public about what our office does and some of the important activities that they can participate in. Mm-hmm. The county clerk's office is responsible for a number of activities. The one that most people are familiar with, the one that gets the most public attention, is that we run all the elections in Lake County. Right, we have 2 elections every year. We do tax extension and redemption. We also are responsible for maintaining all vital records. Many people visit our office for birth records, to get a marriage license. We also serve as the official record keepers for the Lake County Board. But I think the major activity that most of your listeners are familiar with is that of running elections, which is a major activity in our office.
Right. Now the elections, one of the things that we had the opportunity to go over is the opportunity for individuals in this area, and I guess it's safe to say Lake County, to become election judges. And of course, by doing so, I know that holding those positions and taking advantage of the opportunity has some huge requirements. And of course, I want to make sure that we begin to share this information with our listening audience, with our viewers, with our young adults, and they can know, number one, that they can be an election judge. Number two, they can know what steps to take, when and where the training will take place, and then the responsibilities that come thereafter. So why don't we dive into that this morning, Carla? Why don't we talk a little bit about how people in the Lake County area can become an election judge, and what are some of the responsibilities involved once they do take that step?
You've asked me such a perfect question.
Wow.
And I've got a lot of answers for you. I'll try to go through them sort of logically.
Okay.
Elections are, everybody knows, such a critical activity. It's the way individuals can voice their opinions and their choice in and everyone has the right to vote. But we cannot run elections without participation from a lot of individuals in the community.
Right.
The election judges are the people who are on the front line and ensure that we have an orderly and legal process on election day.
Okay.
We, on election day, Lake County has 122 polling sites. We need approximately 1,700 election judges to run an election effectively and in an efficient manner. And we rely on volunteers, although there is pay. We largely look at them as volunteers to get trained and then serve not only on election day, but we also have a group of election judges who work during early voting, which is now a very growing in popularity way for people to vote. We have election judges who work in our office because you can start voting by mail 40 days before the election, and we have to have election judges in our office to process those ballots. But probably the biggest group is those who serve on election day.
Right, right.
All you need to do is be a registered voter in Lake County, which means you need to be 18 or older. Although, as you alluded to before with young people, the statute allows us an exemption for students who are juniors or seniors in high school.
Okay.
No matter, they do not have to yet be 18, for example, as long as they're a junior and they have permission from the high school and their parents, they can serve as student election judges. We had 250 students around the county serve during the November 2016 election. And we provide training. It's free.
Okay.
Just to get the basic training is about 3 hours. We divide that up into two 1.5-hour sessions. We schedule them around the county and at different times in the evenings, during the day, on Saturdays, so everyone can find a convenient training session to attend.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. I mean, and I'm looking at the information that you shared, and I think I have to rewind the tape a little bit because I know that I don't know if you've been asked this question before in the past or not, but I want to, I guess, take a quick look at those individuals that may be coming out of incarceration. Is there any way for them to be involved in being an election judge at all?
Yes, I think there may be some restrictions in the statute for example, registered sex offenders.
Okay.
But other than that, no, there is no limitation based on any kind of prior criminal activity, as long as they are currently not serving a sentence.
Right, and registered voter.
Yes, and
Okay.
for example, a lot of people don't realize that, or some people have the misconception that if you have a felony conviction, you are not able to vote, and that is not correct.
That's not true, right? Okay.
The only time, again, that you are not eligible to vote is if you have a felony conviction and you are currently serving a sentence. In fact, we have a special program where we go into the Lake County Jail for those who are incarcerated but are there pretrial. And we take ballots into them. As long as they're registered to vote, they're able to vote.
Wow.
So there would be no restriction on people serving as an election judge. Again, there might be some restriction if the person is a registered sex offender.
Okay. Awesome information. Now, I did hear you speak about being at the actual location on election day, as an election judge. And I also heard you mention about mail-in ballots. And, of course, that obviously requires election judges to be present as well. Now, is there a way to vote online, and is there a space there for election judges to be a part of that process as well, or
there is no jurisdiction in the United States that allows voting online.
Okay.
We are not there. I think much of the attention lately that's been focused on potential security problems, attacks, sort of reinforces the notion that I think a lot of us have who work in elections, that it will be a while before we vote online. We need to make sure that it's very secure.
Okay.
We do have other things that you can do online. For example, people can register to vote online.
Okay.
You can go to our website if you're interested in being an election judge, and you can send us a message online telling us of your interest, and then we will contact you.
Okay.
You can, you mentioned before about voting by mail. Several years ago in the state of Illinois, the statute changed. At one time, you had to have an excuse or a reason why you were not going to be available, and that would allow you to do what we called absentee voting. Now, anyone can vote by mail.
Okay.
And you can go on our website and download an application to request a ballot. You can also call our office. You can actually request it online.
Okay.
And in fact, at the November 2016 election, 41% of the ballots that were cast in Lake County were cast either during early voting or by mail.
Okay.
So those are becoming increasingly popular.
Awesome. Well, we're going to be out and about, and of course, again, our guest is this awesome young lady, Carla Wyckoff, Lake County Clerk, and of course, we're talking a little bit today about possibly reaching out to the individuals in our community. I don't even want to say possibly. I want to say reaching out to the individuals in our communities to have them consider becoming an election judge. And, of course, the requirements, Lake County registered voter, okay? I guess just say fluently speak and write English. That's going to be very important. Now, is Spanish is that a requirement as well?
No, it's not a requirement. The statute requires only that you be able to speak and understand English.
Okay.
However, we do particularly look for and we welcome individuals who are bilingual.
Okay.
Because as you may recall from voting, all of our election materials are in both English and Spanish. But basically, you have to be able to understand and speak English. But if on top of that, you also can speak and understand Spanish, we can really use you. And we make a huge effort to get bilingual judges in those areas where we know it's critical on Election Day.
Okay. And another requirement, of course, great customer service skills. Got to be able to be like, I tell you, Carla, because she has outstanding customer service skills, relations, public speaking. You get along quite well with people, and I guess you can say you have a tendency to know how to approach people. Some people will just, out of nowhere, but the way you actually interact with people in the community is awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just like people.
Okay.
And I like to talk to people. Every individual has a story.
Yeah.
And has interesting things to say. And
Right.
I like to listen and learn what people are thinking.
Wow. Well, also, our requirement, of course, is you would have to attend the free training class, which is all, and some of the details, process voters in March and November 2018 election. Serve in your own community, bilingual English, like we just talked about a few moments ago, bilingual English, Spanish applicants encouraged. Pay. A lot of people like to hear the word pay. Pay based on completed training and assignment. Now, you did mention a website where they can go online, and, of course, we also want people to be aware that right now, Carla, we are in the process of reaching out to people in the Lake County area, preparing them for the upcoming election, which the next election will be in March.
The next election is March 20th, 2018.
Okay.
And the offices that are up next year are starting with the governor, a number of other state offices, Secretary of State, Comptroller. There'll be some state representatives on the ballot. There'll be U.S. congressional seats. There are also a number of circuit judges that will be on the ballot. And countywide, there'll be 4 races. The the treasurer, the sheriff, the regional superintendent of schools, the clerk. There are 14 county board seats that are up for
Really?
election next year, and also some water reclamation district seats. So it's a wide-ranging election. Again, March 20th, and then the fall election is on November 6th. And we will start training. For those of you who have actually been in a polling place, you will notice that in the last couple of years we have some fancy new equipment. In 2016, for the first time, the statute mandated that we provide voter registration in every polling place on Election Day.
Okay.
And in fact, in the primary in 2016, on Election Day, we registered more than 4,000 people.
Wow.
And at the November general election, we registered about 5,000 people on Election Day. Because of that, we had to buy new equipment to enable us to do that. So one of the things that you'll learn in training is not only basic procedures and requirements for checking in voters and making sure they get the right ballot. You'll also, every judge learns how to operate this equipment.
Right.
And when you come to training, you'll have your own electronic poll book to work on. We also will have drop-in sessions later on, closer to election time, if judges feel like they want to come and practice a little bit more, and we'll have staff available to help them. It's free. We'll start announcing those at the end of December, and we'll start working with people to schedule them into training.
Awesome.
Did you want to talk some more about the pay?
Well, I know people are very interested in the pay. I'm going to be an election judge. All right. I know that pay is going to be, I guess you can say, a high level of interest for some. Knowing that they can get paid to do such, they're going to want to know how that works. I have no idea. I know my mom is very, very, very into being an election judge. She's been doing it for years, but I'm sure there's some listeners and viewers out there right now that's very concerned. Well, how can I get paid? How much do I get paid? So on and so forth. If you'd like to cover that information, that would be awesome.
Well, I'll do the basic.
Okay.
Once you're trained, the pay for working on election day is the base pay is $140. We try to schedule, if you want to be in your own community or your own area, we try to schedule you. If we need judges in other parts of the township, for example, or the county, if you're willing to go outside of your township, you get paid a little bit extra. And that's the basic judge. We have some more specialized judges, for example, the ones who do voter registration in the polling place on Election Day. They have to do some additional training, and they would get an additional $25. We have ballot box judges who, again, have additional training. They're the ones who oversee the tabulators. They are the ones who deliver all the equipment and help set up the polling place. They would get an extra $40.
Okay.
So, it's all a schedule of payment, and we actually have you fill out a time card when you're at the polling place. I will caution you, and I'm very honest with people about this, Election Day is a long, hard, challenging day. We start at 5 a.m., and the polls open at 6. We have to be ready because we always have a rush right at 6 o'clock in the morning. If people want to vote before they go to work. And then the polls are open until 7 p.m.,
Right.
And then after that, we have closing procedures, and all the judges need to stay until the closing procedures are done. For example, we often have write-in votes that still have to be counted manually. They have to transmit the results. They have to sort and box all of the ballots, and they all stay until everything is done. So it's a long, hard day, but as you said, there is pay. But I think there's also, I like to think there's a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day that you have helped one of the most fundamental rights in this country, and you have been part of making sure that people are able to vote.
Right. Well, so it is a start to finish day, so to speak. It's a long, hard day, as you said, and there, pay is based on where you are and what you're doing, as anything else.
Yes.
So the pay structure is going to be based on the responsibilities that you're trained for and you provide. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to say this is how much you're going to get paid for this when you're doing other things. So, it's going to be placed on a different situation or a different scenario, which is good to know. Again, we thank God for having you stop by. Now, if people wanted more intimate details about becoming an election judge, I know that you have some awesome information that you can share with them. Once again, if they want to contact you, I don't know if that's something that you want to allow them to do, but if they can contact you and speak about this personally, why don't you share some of the information that you have that they could utilize to reach out to you, maybe the website, email, phone number, so on.
Yeah, we are happy to talk to anyone who is interested in serving as an election judge. You can call us directly,
Okay.
and that phone number is 847-377-2408. And I can repeat that later if you want me to.
Absolutely.
Or you can visit our the Lake County Clerk's website. Our general website is lakecountyclerk.info, but if you want to go directly to our election judge information page, it is electionjudge.info, and you can either click on the box that will submit a query to us directly, or you can download a form that is on that page and send it in to us expressing your interest, and then we'll contact you. As I mentioned before, we need election judges from every one of our 415 precincts.
Wow.
And
Okay.
we're also required by statute, for example, to have a balance of Republicans and Democrats, so we need to do that and in compliance with the law.
Right. Wow. So it's not, you know what, and I want to make sure that they understand you do have this form available. I do have some here. I'm going to ask that I, at some point, get some more, because while I'm out and about, I'd love to at least be able to share this information with some of the people that I'm, connected with or have an opportunity to reach out to. I'm sure that there are many, because I believe this is something that a lot of people probably didn't know. A lot of times we get this information out there, and some people say, I didn't know I can be an election judge. People look at an opportunity like that and feel like there's a process that people are going through, as well as just like a regular 8-hour job. So it's good to have this information. Registered voters, we're looking for all types. Basically the ages of 18 and over, but we're reaching out to juniors and seniors at the high school level now. So if you're interested, by all means, take advantage of this opportunity. Take advantage of the information given. I will have some forms here in the studio, and I want to make sure that our listening and viewing audience know that when you come here and you want more information about becoming an election judge, I'll have some information here for you. We can fill it out. We can send it in. I'll even deliver it. I'll hand deliver it if I have to, but I want people to know that this opportunity does exist, and I want to make sure that we cover as much information as we possibly can, because we're going to really push this all the way up to, I think you said the training starts in January 2018. So there's no time to waste, really, because if we have so many areas to cover, we want to make sure that as many people as possible know about this opportunity. So it's a great thing to start in August. I believe.
And I should mention that we have sent these forms and our little flyers and also cards with our contact information to every township office.
Okay.
And I know I was just in the Waukegan Township office this week, and I know they have a supply right on their counter,
Right on the desk,
which is great. So if you're close to your township office, you can go in and get a form there. We are over the summer visiting many of the farmers markets.
Okay.
And have available forms, and we wander around the market talking to people with our big buttons on, saying, "Ask me about being an election judge."
Mm-hmm.
So we have been trying to do a whole information campaign leading up to next year's election. They're going to be busy elections, and
Right.
we need more election judges.
I mean, you can't say it any better than that. We need more election judges, and I'm definitely going to put my name on the ballot because I'll tell you what, my mom, like I said, my mom is very, very, very instrumental during election time every year. She's been doing it for quite a while, and when I told her about this, as a matter of fact, she mentioned this to me before, and I had that same mindset. You know, I got to go through an application process. I got to have an interview. Yeah.
No, just training. And in fact, one of the things that we have been trying to convince people as we've been going to, I've been to a number of the farmers markets this summer, and we also had a big booth at the Lake County Fair, and we set it up like a polling place to give people an opportunity, if they were interested, to sit down and see what it was like to process a voter on a poll book. And we're encouraging people to, bring a friend. And I think maybe it's a little bit less intimidating at the idea that you can bring a friend with you and do it together.
Right.
We're happy to have as many people who are willing to volunteer.
And in such a large area, I mean, we're looking at covering quite a bit of ground with these election judges, and we want to make sure that we have this information out there in time enough for people to go ahead and make a decision to want to move forward at becoming an election judge. Again, I'll have some forms here in the studio located at 2424 Washington Street in Waukegan, Suite 103, the GMAP Broadcast Network Studios, the Switch Lanes organization. Also, you said every township
Office has a supply.
Every township office. So stop by your local township office and ask them for how to become an election judge information. Is that what they do?
Yes.
Okay. So how to become an election judge or serve as an election judge. You'll love it. I like that.
Or call our office. You mentioned just a minute ago about the huge size. Lake County is the third largest county in the state of Illinois.
Wow.
And we have a record number of voters in Lake County, the highest number of registered voters we've ever had.
Right.
We're up at about 435,000 registered voters in Lake County, which is a lot compared to, we have a very, very high percentage of our age-eligible vote of citizens who are actually registered to vote.
Wow.
We still obviously are interested in getting everyone registered, and what we really want is for everybody to turn out to vote.
Right. Well, that's the key. Don't just be a registered voter. Utilize that benefit. Utilize that opportunity. I mean, if we can get 400 and how many?
435,000 registered voters in Lake County out of a population of about 703,000.
So if we can get 435,000 people out to vote, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Nobody can complain. So, that's an awesome opportunity. Again, why don't you share your information with our viewers and listeners again, and then maybe you might have a little information that we did not cover that you might want to share with them as well.
Yeah, if you're interested, feel free to call our office directly and actually talk to someone. The individuals who schedule and work with the election judges will be answering the phone. It is 847-377-2408. Or you can go to our website and just put in electionjudge.info. And on that page, you'll see a link where you can either click on the information form to tell us that you're interested in being an election judge, or you can download a form and fill it out and mail it into our office at 18 North County Street in Waukegan, Illinois, 60085.
Awesome.
And we are waiting for those calls.
Yes, and of course, you don't have to think twice. You already know if you would like to become an election judge. Why don't you just go ahead and take advantage of the opportunity? We thank God for you. We thank you so much for taking time to come into the studio and share this information, of course. And, of course, we're going to continue to share this information with our viewers and listeners up until the time December, January. We want to make sure that we get this information out there as much or as often as we possibly can to encourage people to, and I think becoming an election judge will also encourage people to get out and vote. I think that's very, very important. Like you said, 435,000 registered voters. We need the election judges to maintain that, and of course, we need all of these individuals to be willing to get up and get out on voting day, to exercise that right.
Yeah, and I think you'll begin to see some activity very soon gearing up for next year's election. A couple of other dates that I can mention is individuals who are going to want to run for office next March. Petition packets will be available in our office or online starting August 28th.
This month?
Yes. And
wow.
The first day for candidates to begin circulating their nominating petitions will be September 5th.
Okay.
The day after Labor Day. So that's why I say I think you'll begin to see some activity very soon for people who are wanting to file to run in the primary next year. The date, the filing date, the first day to file is November 27th. The last day to file is December 4th.
Okay.
So again, I think you'll start to see some activity around the county with candidates starting to get ready to run. And again, the primary is March 20th. Early voting will start March 5th.
Okay.
The general is November 6th, so early voting will start October 22nd. But even for the March primary, for example, the first day to mail in a vote by mail ballot will be February 8th. So although it sounds like it's a distance away, it's really closer than we think.
Right. I believe, that is definitely true. I mean, it's not, you're going to blink and we're going to be in the midst of this
election.
Yeah. So it's going to be a very interesting time as well. And I'm glad you mentioned that. So if people are interested in filing to get on the ballot, that's something that they're going to need to be able to take advantage of also. And they can also contact your office for information concerning that as well?
Absolutely. And again, we provide courtesy petition packets, and they will be available starting August 28th.
Okay, August 28th. Well, that's right. Definitely right around the corner, because I believe that's next week, isn't it?
That is next week.
Wow. I believe it's like Monday.
Yes, and then the candidates can start circulating, so the people around the county will begin to notice candidates will be asking them to sign their petitions starting September 5th, which is the day after Labor Day.
That's the very first day that they can actually be out asking for signatures.
That's correct. The statute limits you to beginning 90 days before the election. So, or the date of file, I'm sorry. So, yes, September 5th, candidates cannot begin to circulate until September 5th.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, I have been definitely informed on this morning, and you got me excited because I tell you, it's number one, it's a good responsibility to have to be an election judge. I think that's going to be awesome. We want to encourage all of you to get out and consider taking advantage of the opportunity. Carla, I just can't thank you enough for taking time out. I know you're busy, but you found a little time to squeeze us in, and we thank you for that. We hope and pray that we have been informational to each and every one of you. Sharing this information, we're hoping that you will also respond to the information. And if you want to consider becoming an election judge, we hope we gave you enough information. If for some reason we didn't, you can contact our Lake County Clerk, Carla Wyckoff. Gotta make sure I say that right.
Just call me young lady, and you can say it any way you want.
And she's located at 18 North County Street, of course, 847-377-2408, 847-377-2408, electionjudge.info, electionjudge@lakecountyil.gov. By all means, if you want more information, or you can simply stop by the GMAP Broadcast Network studios. We'll be more than happy, to give you the necessary information that you're looking for. And, of course, hopefully we'll see you at the polls one way or the other.
And I'm going to call your mom.
You're going to call her?
And ask her why you're not an election judge.
I'm going to be an election judge this time. I'm going to make sure, because she asked me about it I don't know, last time she was on, well, you should become an election judge. And I told you, the first thing I thought, I never said anything to my mother. I said, "Ma, I got to go through an application process. I got to do an interview. I just looked at it as it was going to be like applying for Amazon or something.
And later on, we're working on it right now, and I'm sorry that I can't announce a specific time to check our website, but we are working on, excuse me, a video where we are interviewing some of our experienced election judges to
really?
get their perspective and advice that they can give and encouragement that they can give to people who are either thinking about it or have not ever thought about it. And I hope that we'll have that ready and released within the next few weeks. And again, I'm sorry I can't announce a specific date today, but it's an interesting project that we thought was an important way to try to recruit other election judges, and that is to get some of the thoughts from current judges. It is, we talked before about it being a challenging day. Certainly customer service is a very key part of it. It's a long day, and just being able to, for 13 hours, communicate with a lot of different people who come in from all over the county, and making sure that you process them correctly, give them the right ballot, and also make sure that things are running smoothly and everybody is in a good mood, particularly after a long day.
Right.
It really does rely on some good customer service skills, and just even people who enjoy being out and talking to others and learning a new skill. We're looking for everybody.
Awesome. Well, you heard it right here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, and of course, I want to make sure that it's okay, but I am going to have this conversation rebroadcasted on GMAP as well as our Comcast cable program that we do on Wednesday nights for informational purposes. It's an awesome opportunity, offering awesome information to share with people around the Lake County area. And of course, when you do get that video, can you make sure I get a copy so I can air it on the network?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. See, well, you heard it. I kind of put you on the spot, huh? Now, well, we thank God for you. We appreciate this young lady stopping by, Carla Wyckoff, our Lake County clerk here at the GMAP Broadcast Network. We want you to make sure you go ahead and garner the information necessary and become an election judge. It's coming election. So we appreciate you. We hope and pray that we have been information, and we look forward to seeing you all very, very soon, either downtown Waukegan or right here in the GMAP Broadcast Network studios. Carla, we thank you again. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we look forward to connecting with you again very, very soon, okay?
I appreciate even more that you gave me this opportunity. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, continuous music is on the way. Yours truly, Pastor Kevin, on the GMAP Broadcast Network. We shall return with more music. Let's talk right here on the show.
Located on Brandon Jackson, I'll cut to you right on the corner, across the street from the BP gas station. Got a staff of great barbers in here, great family environment. The cut that you want is the cut you desire. You can always find us. We're open 6 days a week. Find us on Facebook, and I'll cut to you. We have 2 barbers on staff, 2 licensed barbers, me and Brandon. Here to serve you. We'll take care of you. Thank you for everything. We have daily specials. Come in on the Tuesday special. We have a daily special. Tuesday is $16. You get the full service, the facial and the treatment. Full service, haircut, and the facial was $15 and $16 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those are the days we do special. We're also open on Mondays. Open 6 days a week. Right across the street from the BP gas station.
They say I need to slow down when
Always working.
driving my fancy car.
Love what we do. And we in the community.
See, I know
We're in the community. We're a community-based barbershop. We're here to serve everyone. Color is not an option in this barbershop. No matter what color you are on the service, we cut all types of ethics. So make sure you come on through. We're located again in Brandon Jackson, 903, across the street from the BP gas station.
They say they lose their appetite when I always front the bill. But baby, there's no need to lie, 'cause I know how you
Located
really
on Brandon
feel.
Jackson again. And our mission statement is just to give you the haircut that you want. want to leave you happy, walk out the building real happy. That's the only mission that we have, to make sure she's happy as a client.
Get more money than you. Everybody knows why you do what you do. It's 'cause I'm getting more money than you. Get more money than you.
Celebrating the life and homegoing of your loved one is a time for reflection and rejoicing. It's not a time to be stressing over money or worrying about how the funeral and other bills will be paid. But things can be far less stressful with the right insurance policy through Homegoing Plan. The Homegoing Plan shops and compares many different insurance companies in order to pair you with the right one that will pay your loved ones up to $50,000 immediately. Your premiums will never increase, your benefits will never decrease, and your policy will never be canceled. Imagine the relief of knowing your family will not be burdened by the high cost of funeral expenses, medical bills, credit card debt, and legal fees. For more information about the Homegoing Plan and its benefits, please call the number on your screen. You can apply for coverage right over the phone with just one phone call. No salespeople need to come to your home.
Pope's Florist has been a staple in the community for over 35 years and is known to have the best floral arrangements in town.
Hi, my name is Jean Pope, the owner of Pope's Florist. Please come and see me for all of your floral needs. Just know that we are the place of blooming miracles.